First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually volunteer for this?
Shit, if this gonna be that kind of party, I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potato.
Shit everywhere.
My house is full of shit! He shit everywhere! Look what he did, he shit all!
Internet.
The Shit on the Internet podcast.
It was unbelievably painful.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Shit on the Internet podcast. I'm your host, George Oliver. Guess what, guys? We're back, and it wasn't a month. It wasn't a month in between. And we're doing something super special. This is an on-the-road podcast. This is the first time outside of my homemade studio, a.k.a. my bedroom. And we're in the friendly confines of the Ellerman household with my super special guest host, Bill Ellerman, who's sitting next to me quietly, just waiting to get his time to shine. Introduce yourself here, William.
Hello, how are you all doing tonight?
Welcome to the show.
Although they can't hear me and they can't respond.
They can't, dude. You're talking to yourself. Or, well, I mean, you're talking to me, but started off with a little BC Boys there. Intergalactic, of course, because...
So many memories.
God, when I first met Bill, Bill and I have been friends for 20 years now. I met him when I was 15.
20 years too fucking long.
Whatever, dude. Probably for you. I'm kidding. Yeah.
You're such a bad influence, George.
Well, you turned out all right.
Mm-hmm.
No, Intergalactic, though, when I first met Bill, I remember it was one of the first CDs like he had gotten new. And he calls me up. He's like, dude, I just got this BC Boys CD. He's like, you got to come fucking listen to it. And we didn't drive at the time. So it was like I had to get somebody to take me over to his house.
Yeah, and I live way out in the fucking room, too.
And we listened to that shit on repeat in a boombox while we were playing PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah. Probably some Gran Turismo or something.
Probably so. A little bit of that, a little bit of Madden.
Yeah.
But
I sucked at Madden.
You did hate you hated that game a little bit.
Dude, okay. It was great when it was for like Super Nintendo and you didn't have to worry about all this stupid crap that you have to do now, like picking up popcorn prices and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to play the game. That's all I want to do. Yeah. I just want to throw touchdowns, run the ball.
I just want to Peyton Manning mash.
Yeah, exactly. But now you gotta build your character, pick out their parents, and do all this other crap. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to play the damn game.
What's really funny about that is like I don't care for college football that much, but not because it's not good to watch. My reasons are silly. But point being, I never owned a college football game for a long time, and I got the college football game because I just wanted to make my own kid from high school, and I wanted to pick out where he went to school, and I wanted to pick out his parents.
That sounds creepy as hell.
I mean,
was it somebody from high school?
No,
were you like creeping on somebody and you
created
created him in Madden because you wanted to do?
No, but I did make a whole Madden football team that was like me, you, Ryan, Big Mofo.
That was
Bad Mofo. Yeah. That was the DeKalb Barons.
Yeah.
Remember?
The greatest show on turf.
It was the most ridiculous show on turf.
You were
like 6'8". I made you like 6'8".
Well, I mean, that's about right.
I mean, give or take like 4 or 5 inches.
Probably more like 6.
Anyway, we go way back, and 20 years. I can't believe we've been out of high school for, what is it now, 18 years?
Yeah.
Jesus. We're getting old, dude.
Yeah.
Like pretty old.
Everybody else just keeps getting younger and younger.
I'm okay with that. No, they, as my man McConaughey said, they just stay the same age.
Yeah, that's true.
You just came back from vacation. Where'd you go to vacation?
We went to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
Nice. You said the weather was decent down there?
Man,
Little
better than
chilly?
here, but I mean, it was windy, and there was like one day where it got above 70 degrees, and it was still windy and cold.
I mean, it's better than this shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's better than come back to the snow flurries.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's March and we still got snow in Indiana.
Yep, I literally went down there for the shrimp. That was pretty much it. I'm pretty sure that's all I had to eat while I was down there. Surprised I didn't get like some type of weird
Shellfish poisoning.
Yeah, I would say shellfish poisoning.
I bet if they did your blood work, you probably have like heavy metals in your blood from all
Probably.
the fresh seafood.
That's okay because I like heavy metal.
Me too. You're so clever.
Got him for days.
So since we've known each other so long, I prefaced Bill. We had a little pre-show dinner, and I told him,
Yeah, which I had to fucking buy my own dinner.
I mean,
Crazy stuff. It's not very professional.
you're right. I'm so sorry.
I got a discount though, so that's a good deal.
I'm so sorry.
I'll take that.
I'm making you famous, but I'm sorry I didn't buy you dinner.
You better hope I don't take off from this. This would be awesome. Be pissed.
I mean, I just want people to know you're real. All the references to Bill on the podcast. People are probably like, who the fuck is that guy? With the exception of maybe like Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan's like, yeah, I know that
Ryan
motherfucker.
might know who I am.
He's real. But no. So, we wanted to get somebody on here. I told you guys I'd get somebody on keep shit popping, make stuff interesting. I don't know how funny Bill is, but we'll keep it interesting. This isn't funny, but this is the first thing I have in my notes. So I get home from work last night and I'm like, I'm going to do this podcast with Bill tomorrow. I'm pretty stoked. I'm like, man, I better come correct. So like I had to make notes and I'm up all night making notes. And the first thing, like I start to go read the news. First freaking thing I saw, dude. We'll get to it later, but I'll say rest in peace, Craig Mack. I saw that early in the day, and that was going to be referenced in the show anyway.
Wait,
but
who's Craig Mack?
Who's Craig Mack?
Yeah.
I came to bring the flavor in your ear.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yes.
Yeah. So that's Craig Mack. Anyway, first thing I'm looking at in the news is Stephen Hawking died last night. A lot of people might not know who Stephen Hawking is.
Some old dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's that and so much more, though. The nerd in me is like pretty bummed out. This dude is one of the smartest people that's ever lived in our era. And he didn't let the fact that I think he had ALS. Was it ALS?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it was a degenerative muscle and nerve disease and whatnot. And it put him in a wheelchair to where he couldn't really move. He couldn't speak on his own. Like he created a computer and a program and has this computer talk for him. And he sounds like a robot. And it's pretty sweet. That's another reason for Intergalactic because it just reminded me of Stephen Hawking. And we want to throw him a little respect. Dude is super smart. Wrote some really good books on physics, quantum physics, changed the universe. Look him up. Brief History of Time. If you want to sound smart, go read that book. I read that book on a beach in Cancun, Mexico, folks. I was in Cancun, Mexico, and I'm reading Stephen Hawking on a beach. I'm a little bit of a nerd.
Loser either way.
Whatever, dude. I will say
Just kidding.
he was 76 when he died, so I mean he was getting up there.
But the thing is though, he beat the odds. Like they
For sure.
I mean, they told him he would only live for like what 26 years,
Yeah,
or
something like
20-something
that.
years, and he lived 50 years past the time they told him he was going to die.
They
So
made a
that's
movie
win.
about him maybe like 2 years ago or a year or two ago. I want to say it's like Across the Universe or something, or the I don't know, the space between us. Look it up, guys. Stephen Hawking biopic, 2015. Who knows? He did say though recently he's a little bit of a hater on humans. He did say that we had less than 100 years left on Earth before we had to leave the Earth.
I don't know about that.
I mean, that's pretty pessimistic.
Maybe he was talking about himself.
Definitely. Too soon?
Too soon. He was looking pretty rough the past few years, though. Like, it was.
How do you discern how rough he's looking? I feel like he's looked pretty rough for like 20 years.
It's true. I'm just saying, he just looked more rough than usual.
All right, so we're going to move on from Stephen Hawking. I just wanted to say that. Really smart guy. The world really lost a brilliant person. So I got on to checking the news. First thing that struck me that I saw in the news, I'll read you the headline, Bill. Dog dies in overhead luggage bin.
I saw that too, but I was at work and I couldn't read about it.
Let me tell you about it, Bill.
All right, that sounds great.
So on a United flight, go figure it's United, they kind of have shit the bed recently in the media, throwing people off planes, just ridiculous shit. Stun gunning some guy because he wouldn't give up his seat.
It'd be a good show, though.
So on this flight, this lady had her French bulldog, which is not like a real small dog, at least not in my mind.
That's what my wife wants.
I'd say, what, like 20, 30 pounds for full
maybe 20
size?
pounds, yeah.
But this lady paid for her ticket for her dog, had it in a carrier. She had the carrier in the aisleway, I guess, or next to her seat in the aisle. The flight attendant came by multiple times and told that lady she had to put that dog carrier up in the overhead bin. And the lady's like, no, like, I paid to have my dog. I'm not going to put it in the overhead bin. The flight attendant kept insisting, and finally the lady was just like, fine. Like, she's like, I'm going to put it up in the bin. And she put it up there and closed the bin. I guess the regulation, like, I looked up the whole article in the regulation, and it says you can have dogs travel with you in a carrier, but it has to be able to fit behind the seat in front of you, like underneath there, and it's supposed to stay there the whole fucking time. Well, that's gonna be a pretty small carrier, I would imagine, like a little ankle biter dog. But this lady put her dog up in that overhead, and like it was pitching a fit while they were taking off, and then it finally got quiet, and she didn't realize until the end of the flight, and she was taking that carrier out of the overhead, that the dog was dead. Like,
suffocated or something?
I don't know. They didn't say what specifically caused it. I would imagine it had to have been suffocation. I mean, you're already, you know, they pump air into the cabins in those planes at those altitudes, but I mean, it can't be a bunch. And if that dog is hyperventilating because it's freaking out, you never know.
Yeah, could be.
Nonetheless, United's fucked, and their corporate people were like, I can't imagine why that lady told her to put it up in the overhead. She's like, that's not our policy. And the flight attendant just didn't know what to say. And that lady, they said that lady, when she found her dog, she just dropped to her knees and started bawling on that airplane.
Yeah, that would suck.
Good luck making that right, United.
Right.
Good luck.
Give her two.
You can fucking give her free airfare for life. And a new dog.
Right, I was saying $2.
Yeah, something. And they better be like AKC papered so she can sell those puppies for dollars.
Right.
Another random one I saw. Doctor finds air pocket hidden in man's brain. Dissect that for me. Finds air pocket hidden in the man's brain. Now, I looked at this picture, and the picture is really fucked up. It's like an MRI scan. Mm-hmm. And, like, the whole left hemisphere of this dude's brain, like, you can see the right side just fine. But the left side, like, has this big black spot, and it just looks like a chunk of his brain is gone. And the doctors are looking at that picture, and they're like, where's his brain? Where's his brain? And, you know, they didn't know what the fuck was wrong with him. Not exactly sure what brought him in there in the first place.
Probably a headache.
You know, he just couldn't remember where he was going. I don't know.
Right.
But so the chunk of brain that was actually missing, I guess they opened up his head, and it was an air pocket in his brain. Like,
Maybe he had a head injury or something. And...
I guess. That's weird.
Yeah.
How is it hidden? Is it hidden? I mean, the picture showed it. I'm like, I don't know.
I found this hidden air.
Yeah, maybe I'm just trying to make that too simple. This is my okay. Because guess what, guys? If we didn't talk enough about sports on the last episode, I'm going to talk a bit about sports here in a little bit. We're going to hit it pretty hard. But this is my favorite fucking thing that I saw. And I actually heard somebody else talk about it somewhere else. And when I saw it in the news, I was like, oh, they weren't joking. Like, that shit was real. Donald Trump wants to entertain the idea of creating a space force that like operates alongside all of our other branches of military. So we got the Air Force, we got the Navy, you got the Marines, you got the Army, and we're going to have a space. He wants to have a space force.
That sounds pretty awesome.
So we can fight wars in space. like this shit is, he really said that shit. He really was like, yeah, we need to, I can't say it without laughing. We need to be able to handle ourselves in all environments.
You know what they should call it? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
Marvel's going to sue us right fucking
Big
now,
time.
dude. Thanks.
I'm never coming back on the show
Thanks
again.
for shutting down my podcast right there, Bill. I appreciate you.
It'd be way cooler to Space Force.
Do you know what I think about that the Space Force shit? I think that Donald Trump's been playing too much Call of Duty.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that looked neat as shit. Let's go do that. China would fuck us.
Space Force.
China would fuck us up in space, dude. Like, I don't think Donald Trump wants to go there. Space Force. I mean, what the fuck? But hey, you know, why not spend another $3 trillion? I think that's what they said it would cost. Because we have any idea what that would actually cost.
Well, he gave us tax cuts, so we have some extra cash spending around. We're standing around.
This is not here's a fucked up headline for you, Bill. Science teacher fed puppy to a turtle in front of students. Science teacher fed a puppy to a turtle.
What was it, a French bulldog?
In front of students.
It had to be something small.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon, Bill. But no, so this was really fucked up. And initially I was like, well, that's weird. But again, I read the article because clickbait headlines are ridiculous. And so I find out reading the article, the guy didn't do it like during class. Like, he didn't do it as a demonstration to his students. He did it several hours after school was out, and there was like a couple kids in his class, like, for after school shit. The kids didn't complain. Like, they weren't the ones that made a complaint about it. The person that fucking complained about it was a fucking snowflake that it was an animal rights activist. And she just got her panties in a bunch and couldn't understand how this guy is a teacher, how he's able to influence students. Like, she freaked out and she called.
How did she find out?
She heard it from somebody who heard it. I don't know. I truly don't know. I never really got to the bottom of that.
I don't think what kind of turtle eats puppies.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get to that. The details of this is it's a big snapping turtle.
Oh, it's got to eat something.
And it was a deformed puppy that the article and everybody said the puppy was gonna die. Like, it was gonna die. And this guy is like, this is the circle of life, this snapping turtle is going to eat something anyway. This puppy's going to die. He didn't do it, like I said, to make a demonstration out of it. Like, he did it, and happened to be a couple kids there. And all these people, though, they interviewed all these people who said this teacher's a good guy. Like, he's not a weirdo. He's not a freak. He didn't do that shit to cause a scene. But this lady who wants to be involved called the cops and called PETA, and PETA says that this guy has no place being a teacher. He shouldn't be able to be around children at all unsupervised because
they're experts on that stuff.
Yeah. PETA, man, fuck PETA. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. Like PETA, I'm team. I'm as Joe Rogan says, I'm team people. Are you team people, Bill?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I love animals.
The right people.
True story. I mean, I love animals. Like, don't get me wrong, but never ever on any fucking day ever will you ever get me to pick animals over people, and never ever will. Oh, this is going to be controversial, but never ever would I honestly lock a person up for things involved. Almost never ever. I can't say never ever, but locking people up for shit like that is stupid too. It's a waste of fucking taxpayers' money. It's a waste of shit. Yeah, they're fucked up people, and yeah, they probably done their animals wrong. At the end of the day, they're animals.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit different on that. I just think that if they're doing things like that to animals, they can do that to humans too. And
okay, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm more like dog fighting and shit like that. I'm not talking about like animal
or beating cats.
Yeah, animal abuse or
stuff like that. That's crazy. Those people are nuts, and they probably should be locked up.
I agree, or at least in a mental facility.
Yeah, because that probably would have some mass shootings.
Right, but I'm just like, I'm not about like people want to throw people in even like poaching deer and like, I'm sorry, man.
Right.
Yeah, make them pay fines and shit.
Yeah.
But
take their guns.
Take their guns away to an extent.
That's what they do.
But man, to expend resources to pick animals over people, or people who think, and I don't know, man, PETA, it's overrated. That's all I'm gonna say, because that can be really controversial, and I'm not trying to ruffle too many feathers. I like animals. Like, at the end of the day, I like animals.
Yeah, they're delicious. Sorry, I had
I'm so
Ted
sorry.
Nugent in me.
Oh shit, they are delicious though.
Speaking of, we had some good hamburgers tonight.
We did at Granite City Food and Brewery.
It was good.
Shout out to Holly King and your free advertising again. But yeah, it was tasty. I had a blue peppercorn burger. Billy had a nice no bun double cheeseburger with sauteed mushrooms and bacon.
It was good. Double. It was a double.
I said that.
Okay.
And it looked tasty as fuck.
It was good.
But
not too bad.
I mean, he's all Metro skinny man. I mean, that's all he had. I had to eat his fries. I had to eat my green beans. What the what's going on with this guy? I did write a note about a Belgian hotel shaped like a colon, and it says it's even complete with a giant anus. And I read this article, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it really wasn't that good, but I was like, who decides to build a colon-shaped hotel?
A stupid architect.
An artist. He says he's an artist.
Yeah, he's definitely an artist.
And guess what the name of the hotel is, Bill?
I'm thinking. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, but it's Casa Anus.
Sounds about right.
I could not make that shit up. Casa Anus. Go find it. It is in Belgium.
That's Belgium.
Yeah, it is in Belgium.
They speak Belgian though, right?
Isn't that in Brussels? Is in Belgium?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's from there, I think.
Muscles from Brussels.
Yeah, boy. Shout out to Jean-Claude Van Damme. Haven't heard his name in a long time.
Right.
I feel like we bullshit enough. Was there anything that happened today that you saw in the news that... Oh, you wanted to talk about... Well, we'll do that at the end, because I do have a guest choice segment at the end. So anything that we missed that he wants to talk about, we're going to talk about.
I'm pretty sure you just made that up.
No. Do you want to see it, brother? Right there, my man.
Nice.
It says guest choice. Wrap it up.
Nice. That's what she said.
Yeah. We see how well that worked out. So we're going to move on to the sports segment, because it's the best segment. And we're going to talk about what else but NFL free agency. which has been a shitstorm. It actually started today. Tampering period was Monday. A lot of shit going on. A lot of stuff not involving the Colts.
Yeah.
People are freaking out about it. I'm not really freaking out about it, but I'm wondering, like, what are we doing? Everybody in our division is getting better. We're just kind of sitting here right now.
Building through the draft, man.
Speaking of building through the draft, so let's talk about the free agents that moved, because I really feel like this changed the whole feel of the draft, because everybody thought Saquon Barkley probably going number 1 to Cleveland, but they just signed Carlos Hyde from the 49ers. Let's see what kind of money he got, because it's not on there. Carlos Hyde, I think it was $40 million. Of course, I don't have it written on here.
It was like 4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just happened today.
Which doesn't make sense if they're trying to go Saquon, unless they want Saquon to ride the bench for a little bit.
I don't think they.
Why would you do that?
I think they probably don't go Saquon number 1. They probably look at a quarterback.
Yeah, or they try and trade out.
I think they want a Well, they got Tyrod Taylor, but from all indications, they're still probably going to go quarterback with one of those 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, I would think you would have to, because Tyrod's not.
Yeah, Tyrod's not your team.
No.
And they traded Deshaun Kaiser, which that blew my mind. They just drafted him last year.
Right.
And he was a rookie. Everybody's like, oh, he was a fucking rookie on a shitty team. And you just, like, you spent a first-round draft pick on him last year, and then you're like, yeah, maybe he wasn't a first. I might be mistaken.
No, what they did was they I can't remember who they picked in the first round. Was it Jabril Peppers? I know
yes,
they picked out
it was Michigan.
And I think they may have picked another. I think they may have had another pick or something. And then in their second round or something like that, they traded like their second rounder to go back up to get him
and get Deshaun Kaiser. Yeah. I don't know, man, but
they got a new GM this year, and so I don't know if maybe he wasn't completely sold on Deshaun and said, "Screw it and go."
So then again, because Tyrod is not your guy for the long haul.
He's a temporary fix.
Yeah, because in my opinion, he's too much Robert Griffin. Like, he's talented, but he's not big, and his style is like run around.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Michael Vick.
Yeah. Except he's not as big as Michael Vick, if he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's built to last long playing the way he plays.
No,
and especially on the Browns.
I mean, they got to get good. It seems like they always have like a
dude, and they have like all pro offensive linemen and shit. Like Joe Thomas is a stud.
Dudes on there.
What's that? Alex Mack is their center or whatever.
I think so.
He just signed a big deal last year. He was really good.
I got some good dudes.
Yeah, so I just maybe Saquon is not number 1, but then so are the Giants going to take him? They just signed Jonathan Stewart, running back out of Carolina, has been really good for them.
I still think they go Chubb.
Maybe I could see them probably, especially now with having added Jonathan Stewart, they're either going to go Chubb or
get a quarterback.
Yeah, and if it's tough because Chubb is there, I think they you're right. Like they probably do look really hard at him. Otherwise, if they're not taking a quarterback, they're in the same boat as the Colts. Like trade to somebody who wants a quarterback. Trade that pick, get more picks.
They could do that too and get more picks.
I agree with you though. They probably go Chubb. I think number 2, or I hope. That's just wishful thinking that they don't take Saquon Barkley.
I like to have Saquon.
I'm like, I hope he's there, but you never know. If neither one of them there, then like I've been saying, Colts probably look to trade that pick back, get a couple more picks. Everybody's saying Buffalo with their 2 first-round picks. I was talking to Bill earlier. Before we did the podcast, those 2 picks from the Bills are okay, but you got to come a little higher than 12, in my opinion, to get that 3.
Yeah, you would have to throw in a second and a third rounder. Or something,
Yeah,
I would think.
yeah.
But I'm definitely no pro ad though.
Well,
so
Lots of people moving, man. Deion Lewis left New England, went to our division got better,
stupid tough.
like a lot better.
But I mean, I agree with some other people were saying was that the reason those people are free agents for a reason.
Because
They're not
teams
elite.
don't see the value. Yeah, they're not worth the perceived value on the market. So even though Jacksonville is willing to pay that tackle from Andrew Norwell from Carolina, even though they were willing to pay him $66 million for 5 years, Carolina, I don't think it's that they didn't want to pay him. They probably just couldn't.
I think they had another lineman that they picked they thought was better than him.
It would make sense. I mean, because he was like everybody, he's really good. That Andrew Norwell guy is really good. 5 years, $66 million, good.
Man, better be.
Colts were rumored to be after him, but Jacksonville got him. Jacksonville also took Dante Moncrief from us. I don't know. We were talking about that at dinner too. I'm not really sure, how I feel about that. Dante to me was a solid. With Andrew Luck, he was a plus receiver in my opinion. With everybody else, he was middle of the pack. I don't know. They signed him, I think, 3 years and a fair amount of money.
Yeah, I don't know. I was impressed sometimes by Dante. I mean, he needed to be a number 2 wide receiver to get that money that he wanted. He needed to show that he was better because hell, he was outplayed by Kamar Aiken last year.
See, and I don't agree with that though.
I mean, I'm not saying the whole entire year, but I mean, it's sometimes like Dante should have been leaps and bounds beyond Kamar Aiken, but he couldn't really separate himself.
I was gonna say, I think there was a lot a lot to do with our offense that definitely probably limited some people in production as well. Right. Not having time at all for routes to develop will limit you. T.Y. Hilton, because he's so quick and agile, those quick routes, like he's good at that, and that's why he got a lot of looks. I don't think Dante Moncrief necessarily runs as good as routes as T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I mean, he's a big dude, and when Andrew Luck was out there, he was like I said earlier, almost a touchdown a game, almost every game.
Right.
It would seem like. Man, he went to Jacksonville. I wouldn't mind of him going to almost anywhere else. Jacksonville just keeps fucking loading up the chambers, man. Like
they want to win now.
Yeah, I mean they better. They couldn't get it done in the AFC Championship. They did lose because they added Dante Moncrief. They didn't lose Allen Robinson because of this, but they did lose Allen Robinson, who was their number 1 receiver, except he was coming off an injury. But everybody's saying he's only like 24. Allen Robinson went to the Bears. 3 years. Ooh, damn. 3 years, $42 million.
That's some cash.
Yeah. Who's throwing him the ball? Mitch Trubisky?
Yeah. Whoever.
Who's on the
flavor of the week?
Who's on the Bears now? Like Mitch Trubisky? Jordan Howard maybe is on that team as a running back.
I can't remember.
Everybody that I used to remember on their team is not on their team anymore. A la Alshon Jeffries, a la Matt Forte.
Didn't he just retire?
Retired, yep.
Yeah.
Alshon Jeffries just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, he played a hell of a game.
Yeah, that first touchdown he caught was fucking sick. Like 40 yards over the shoulder, over the defender, falling down at the end of great game. By the way, New England lost. Bunch of other Deion Lewis. New England lost a couple dudes too. Nate Soldier, their offensive lineman, left, and I forget where I saw that he went, but I know for a fact that he left.
Yeah, I can't remember
God
who
dang
he
it,
went
yeah.
to.
Right off the top of my head, I can't remember. Not a big deal. But Nate Soldier left. Their running back, Deion Lewis. Granted, they just run. You could put no name on a running back there.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
they get the same production out of every running back. Like, it's ridiculous. Little Garrett Blount, you we don't want you in Pittsburgh. Okay, go to New England and kick everybody's ass and win a Super Bowl. Okay. Deion Lewis, we don't really know you. We never heard you. James White.
Burkhead.
Yeah, Rex Burkhead. You know what? Rex Burkhead was a stud on my fantasy team, though, because he caught a lot of balls. And I played PPR, and those count for a lot. Who else? Danny Amendola left them this
he went to
year.
Dolphins.
Malcolm Butler just left. Yeah, Bill Belichick better pull some magic out of his ass, and they're going to have to just reload on talent, or they must have some talent that I didn't know about. Well, or maybe not, because they lost the Super Bowl. Can't get
Too
that
soon, George.
Can't get that
Too
in
soon.
there enough. Some other interesting shit. Jimmy Graham. Okay, so let's talk about the Packers real quick. Packers released Jordy Nelson.
He's old.
I mean, he's old, but he's fucking good.
Yeah, so is Reggie Wayne, but
Reggie Wayne wasn't catching as many touchdowns as Jordy Nelson.
yeah, it's true.
I'm curious about the front office and the locker room there, and how Aaron Rodgers really feels about that, because like that was his dude. He got a lot of touchdowns with that guy, and he's been beat up. You know, he's been beat up the last couple years. He's missed a couple games, but somebody's gonna get a decent receiver, hopefully for a decent price. I wouldn't be mad if the Colts got him for the right number.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. We need a receiver.
I would not be mad at all. Throw him in the slot, or throw Ty in the slot. Yeah.
Jordy'd probably break a leg or something.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. God, I got a whole list of the free agents, guys, and I'm just trying to. Jarvis Landry was another guy the Colts were looking at. We need a receiver. If you couldn't pick that up from what we've been talking about, we have two currently on the active roster right now. It's T.Y. Hilton and Chester Rogers.
Chester Rogers wasn't bad.
Dude, Chester.
He was out playing Dante last year.
He had some good games. Chester Rogers is a big boy too. Not like
pretty good.
Not like a giant tall, but he's like a big body. I think he can be all right. He's young. I don't think he's like a superstar, but he's got good hand. He's Jack Doyle of our receiver group.
Right.
You know, who ever heard of Jack Doyle until like he basically just kicked everybody's ass last year, and you knew Jack Doyle's getting the ball, and he still got the fucking ball. So, I mean, that there was rumors of Jimmy Graham to the Colts. They were saying that would have been a good spot for him. He ended up signing with the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So, Aaron Rodgers loses one major target, acquires a potential other major target, but their offensive line hasn't been that great, and so their tight ends the last couple of years, like I had a couple of them for fantasy, and they just don't get looks because they got a block because their offensive line is kind of Swiss cheese.
That's pretty original.
Yeah, I try hard. And Dominican Sue got released by Miami. Do you think he's worth a waiver there?
No.
He probably he probably wants too much money.
He's kind of a douche.
And he's kind of a dickhead. Speaking of dickheads, Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman got released by
Dick Sherman.
Seattle. Yes, and he's a dickhead too at times. But Seattle released him. That one really kind of shocked me. Seattle basically dismantled their defense this offseason.
Chancellor's gone.
Chancellor's gone. Michael Bennett's gone from the line.
They're trying to get rid of Sheldon Richardson, and they signed him last year, I think.
Dude, I'm there it goes. So we were talking a myriad of things being the first time that we're outside of my house for the podcast. I forgot the desk mount for one of my microphone stands, and I only have one microphone windscreen like that goes on the microphone, and the other one I have is an actual screen that mounts to the desktop microphone stand that I can't use. Long story short, when you heard that, I don't even want to make the noise again because it's annoying, so I won't. But when you hear that P sound or breathing on it, that's me, and it's annoying, and I get it, and it's because I forgot the part of the microphone stand. Sorry. You guys don't shun me too much. But guess what? You're getting 2 podcasts in 1 fucking week. So suck it up. And Angency, no. Richard Sherman went to San Francisco, 3 years, $39 million. That was super quick too. Like they released him, and John Lynch is like, "Hey, come check us out."
Yeah, I think he was really interested in playing his old team twice.
I imagine that, and he's staying on that coast, and he's gonna be in fucking San Francisco. So, and they just got brand new facility. Like their stadium is state of the art.
He went to Stanford, didn't he?
Yeah. So he's all about that whole area.
Yeah.
Malcolm Butler signed with Tennessee, kind of trying to do some things too.
Yeah.
Deion Lewis, their running back from New England, went to Tennessee. They released DeMarco Murray. I don't know if he's been a bell cow running back. I wonder if they know something that we don't, or they just think that he's that old. I don't think he really declined that much last year, unless he was hurt and I just didn't know it.
Yeah, I don't follow the Titans too much.
You need to, Bill. They're in our division.
Right.
I feel like I don't care about a lot of teams, but I know about the teams that we play a lot. Aqib Talib, defensive back from Denver. Really good corner, actually. Although I think he's getting up there. He went to the Rams, loaded up on defense this year, too. On their already good defense. Their defense is freaking
stout.
Phenomenal. They got Aqib Talib. They got Marcus Peters from Kansas City. I don't really know a lot about him, but I know he's supposed to be pretty good. There's a lot of shit going on, and it's literally the first day. It's the actual first day of free agency. Colts signed who? What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I don't.
Exactly.
It's some second.
A guy that we don't know who's actually supposed to be really good, but he's super low key under the radar. And he came from the Raiders, right?
Yeah, he was behind Khalil Mack.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good. Khalil Mack's pretty good. What else we got, guys? Bill doesn't really do basketball, so we're not. Guess you guys get to avoid all the other shit because it's primarily Colts football is what I want to talk to him about, or NFL. But it's that time. We got that best Bill and George story if you got one there.
Yeah. There's too many stories, to be honest.
I'm like, I got the best. I got the best one. We'll see if you pick the best one that I got.
One of the dozen times you about killed me in your car.
I thought about that one. Were you in the car with me and Brady when I took the mirror off of him?
No.
Was that Ryan? We were in the mall parking lot. Brady wasn't supposed to be with me. We have another semi-mutual friend. I'll say mutual friend, whatever, even though I haven't seen him in probably 20 years.
Yeah, he kind of just literally the day after graduation from high school was gone.
Yeah,
I thought he died.
He disappeared. But one night, because he wasn't supposed to be hanging out with me and him and our other friend Ryan came to Fort Wayne. Went to the mall. The mall was closing or closed. The parking lot was empty and icy, and I decided I wanted to go ripping through it. And I'm ripping through this parking lot, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and there's one vehicle in the whole parking lot. And evidently I was driving towards it. And I just remember putting my foot on the brake, and the car was not remotely close to stopping or slowing down. And we're just heading for this van. And I'm steering. I'm like white knuckle steering. And I just got Brady in the passenger seat and Ryan in the back seat. And they're like, oh shit. And Ryan is quiet and Brady's like, oh shit. And we miss this van by inches, but not inches enough because my mirror stuck out about 8 inches. 8 inches?
Was it in the Lumina?
Yeah, it was. and I fucking clipped that mirror right off there. The mirror stayed attached, but the mirror lens came off. And I remember stopping the car and I looked and I'm like, woo. And Ryan's like, woo. And Brady's just sitting there like I fucking ran over his dog, dude. He's looking.
You traumatized him.
Something.
PTSD.
He was very upset with me that I took a risk and he wasn't. And if for some reason something happened, even though it would have not had anything to do with him, he would have gotten in trouble for being with me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you weren't with me on that one.
No.
My favorite Bill and George story. My favorite Bill and George story is the night that. Well, man, there's two of those. I was like, wait a minute.
Was the one in the same night?
No. That's another good. Bill's got all the good stories. No, Bill was with me the one night. It was me and him and my buddy Mike Tackett.
Good old Tackett.
And shout out to Mike Tackett.
Hello, Mike.
And I think Ryan was with us, right? Yeah, because he wasn't wearing the DeKalb tennis t-shirt.
No, that was me.
That was you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just me, you, and Tackett.
Oh, man. So I don't even think I legit had a driver's license yet. If I did, I don't think I did.
I'm pretty sure you did. I think you literally just got it like that weekend or like that week. You had it for a few minutes. Literally.
So my dad, I had all these guys staying the night at my house in Auburn, and my dad like comes in and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we were just playing video games. And he goes, I want you to run me to Fort Wayne. And I'm like, what? Like, why don't you just drive yourself? He goes, yeah, just take me to Pierre's. He goes, and then come home, and I'll call you when I want you to come get me. And I'm 16 and fresh license.
Yeah, because we're just sitting there playing video games, and we're like, wait, what?
Yeah, he's like,
you want us to drive you to Pierre's?
He's like, just take me to Pierre's and drop me off.
We didn't even know how the hell to get there.
Yeah.
We didn't even know how to get home.
It was really bizarre. So we figured out how to get there, and he goes straight home. He's like, don't go anywhere.
Okay, Dad. Gotcha. 10-4.
So mind you, we drove 25 minutes south from Auburn to drop my dad off. As soon as we drop him off, I was like, fuck that. I put money. I'm like, I'll put gas in the tank. We're going to Kendallville. Like, we're going.
That was when gas was cheap.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Kendallville was the place to go.
Oh, it still is.
Fucking Kentucky.
Like got Long John Silver's out there.
So we proceed to go to Kendallville in my car and cruise around there. We had a good time. And so we go home. Like, I don't know what time we went home. I don't know what time we dropped my dad off. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock when we dropped him off, right?
Late. I don't think we were even in Kendallville for that long.
We were home from Kendallville like by 12 or something. Because I was like, if we got to be home by midnight, because I don't know when my dad's going to call.
Right.
And
is that the night we got pulled over twice?
I was wondering if it happened.
It had to have been.
I was just thinking. I
was
was like, do these stories coincide?
Dude, there's so many times we went to Kendallville when we were kids.
It was. Well, that's what I thought. I'm like, maybe that was a different time we went to, because the when we went that time,
it's all blurry.
I didn't get in trouble for what.
I don't think it was.
It wasn't the same time.
No.
But no. So we come home from Kendallville that night, and we have an answer machine. Yeah, I just did that. For those who aren't old enough to remember, there's these things that people left voice messages on when you weren't home, and everybody didn't have fucking cell phones. And as a matter of fact, like, not even 10% of people I felt like had cell phones at that time.
No, they were definitely not popular. That was like Saved by the Bell times.
Yeah, you were talking those brick phones.
Yeah, giant brick phones.
So we get home and I look at the answer machine. There's like 4 messages. There might have been more. There might have been like
a lot.
It was a lot. The first message. Hey, George, it's your dad. I don't know where you are, but I'm ready for you to come. I'm ready for you to come pick me
I'm
up.
pretty sure I pissed my pants when I heard that. and I'm like, I want to go home, but I can't.
And I'm like, okay. So that was the first message. The second message. George, pick up the phone.
George.
for like 5 minutes.
I'm like, we're dead. We're dead.
5 fucking.
I'm like, take me home on the way.
The second message ends. I'm like, oh shit. Third message. George! Pick up the phone, George! I couldn't. Oh, man. I was hurting. I was hurting so bad, trying not to laugh. There was like 4 messages of that.
The same thing.
There was like 4 messages of that. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And my buddy Mike Tackett at the time was like the more mature version of me. Like he was the influence that you didn't necessarily want all your kids to have. so he was a more further along me. And Mike is just laughing his ass off, and I'm like, what the fuck? So we immediately get in the car and go to Fort Wayne. And well, no, I call Piers first. Never having been in a bar, especially a club like that. And back then, Piers was like hopping.
Piers was the shit.
Like it was big time. I call Piers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for somebody. I'm looking for my dad. Can you page him? They were like, well, we can, but I don't think it works that way. And I'm like, what? I was like, you can't just page him, like, please? They're like, no. So I'm like, fuck. So we go to Fort Wayne. We pull back into Pierre's. It's almost closing time. One of my favorite things from this part of the story was the fucking guy on the bench with this girl talking to those young guys. Go home and eat your fucking milk and cookies. Like,
I thought he was talking to us at
dude,
first.
it was so funny. Yeah.
Then I realized he was talking to...
He was talking to these fucking 20-year-old kids, and this guy was probably 40-something with his girl.
I was like, yeah, go home and eat your milk and cookies.
And we're fucking 16. We got out of the car.
I'm wearing my DeKalb tennis T-shirt.
DeKalb High School tennis, folks, and it looked DeKalb High School as fuck.
Definitely. I'm not even sure how I got that shirt.
I don't either, because I was like, you don't fucking play tennis. Like, what the fuck?
I have no idea.
That's why I was for sure Mike Tackett had it, because his girlfriend played tennis.
Oh.
And I was like, it had to be Amanda's shirt. Like, it had to be Amanda's
I
shirt.
remember her.
But shout out to Amanda Thompson. The older one, because there was 2 Amanda Thompsons in our school. One was in our grade. The other one was a grade ahead of us. Anyway.
Didn't she get busted? Side story. Wasn't that the one who got busted for working at a massage parlor?
Wait.
Wasn't there some chick?
The one in our grade?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I cannot confirm.
You're
I can't.
throwing out rumors,
No,
George.
I can't.
Or did I do that?
Yeah, Bill just did that. I can't confirm or deny any of that nonsense. But yeah, we're running around Pierre's, 16 years old, and I'm like, go to the door, because I'm like, I need to find my dad. We're just still looking for him. Never fucking found him. Stayed there all night, closed that bitch down, watched drunk people leave, watched the old man tell those guys about his milk and cookies.
But did we go home? And
We did.
Your dad called again, didn't he?
He did. He did indeed. He did indeed. He called while we were gone again. And I go home, and we never saw him. And he came back the next day. Or he called me the next day. Again, there's multiple times that this happened, too, where he called. Remember the morning we had to take the checkbook?
Yes, I remember that.
I was like, Bill, can you go with me? I got to go bail my dad out of jail. Like, sorry. Yeah, Bill has all the stories. But needless to say, my dad got a hotel room in Fort Wayne because we weren't there.
Just go for it, George.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just go for it. I just thought of man. We got plenty of stories. Left my dad in Fort Wayne. That was a good one. I told we had a malfunction that you guys will know nothing about, but me and Bill know all about it, and we totally thought that we lost all this shit. Like, my computer literally just froze in the middle of recording. Couldn't even Control-Alt-Delete that shit. It just stopped. Bill was shitting on it because it's not a fucking Apple product. Fuck Apple products. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't really hate because my computer froze, so whatever. Leaving that story behind, and I'm trying to pick. I was going to tell one where I first basically established you don't want your kids hanging out with me. But like
Pretty sure you do that quite often.
Fuck you. Now everybody wants their kids hanging out with me.
Right.
I'm the coolest. I got a podcast, bro. You don't.
Right, it's true.
I'm just kidding. The myriad of stories. The one time, Bill and I and a couple other friends staying the night at the same house in Auburn. My dad went to bed. He had to get up early, real early the next day to go to Toledo for business. Me and my friends, the friends were myself, Bill, Jake Reading. Was it just us three? It was just us three that got in trouble.
Oh, yeah. It was just us.
But was it just us three that were all there? Didn't
Yeah.
like Brady or somebody like stay at my house and pass? No,
No, I don't think so. I'm thinking it was just us.
It was just us three. So I don't know. I get the bright idea. We get the bright idea. We want to go out. It's like, I don't know, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Was this before we started driving? No. It was before I started driving.
Definitely before we started driving, because none of us drove.
Yeah, because this was like our junior year.
No, dude,
Or
I
summer.
drove our junior year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Maybe it was between our sophomore and junior year. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was in high school.
But nonetheless, we were at my house. We decided we're going to go out and just go stroll the neighborhood and see what we could get into. And Auburn is a small fucking town. There's not a whole lot going on there. And back then it was really fucking small. Like now it's not so small. But back then it was fucking felt small town. So I live on North Main Street at the time. We stroll down by the courthouse, which is the downtown part of Auburn. And we're just walking around down there. And somebody I went to school with back at that time, here's another name that we'll just pull out of my ass. His name was Mike Wolf.
Shit, I haven't seen that dude in a while.
Mike Wolf from Corona, I believe. He had a barricade light. Picture big, flashing yellow circle dot on top of a barricade. That's what I'm talking about. He had one of those in his room. I wanted one of those in my room. We're all out rolling around on the other side of town. They were doing some fucking road work, or they had barricades up or something, and they had those lights, and I saw that barricade and I was like, I want that fucking light.
Hey, keep in mind that was on the other side of town too.
Yeah,
So it wasn't even anywhere close to where we were
not
staying.
close to the house. It's late. It was foggy too. It was actually
yeah,
it was
really
really
foggy.
foggy. And we go we find this barricade, and I'm like, how are we going to get that off here? We had no tools. Those things are firmly attached, guys.
Yes, they are.
Firmly
We know this.
from experience. Take this barricade, and we start smashing on it. Like, I start hitting it on the ground, on trees. I'm trying to get this light off here. We were not being subtle about it. All of a sudden, like, somebody turns their porch light on or something. We saw somebody turn lights on.
What are you doing down there?
Yeah, and so we like dip behind this garage, like next to this house, and cops started driving. Like, a cop drove around the block, and we saw him, and we're like, "Fuck!" So we're like, "We need to get home."
Yeah, we're like running through the trees and stuff behind people's houses and stuff.
Oh, dude,
it was awesome.
It was awesome. We were like backyard stealth commando shit. And
Definitely.
we are making our way back towards my house. And we get to 7th Street, which people who aren't familiar with Auburn, 7th Street is like the main drag. It's the main drag. It's not, Main Street is not the actual main drag. So 7th Street, empty as fuck because it's late and super foggy.
It was like, what, 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, it was hella early. And it was summertime because we didn't have school. That's the whole reason we were staying the night. That's the whole reason we were out, you know. It was whatever. And we go to cross the street, and all the lights and the intersections there were flashing. And so we're like, okay. So we look a couple times because it was so foggy. And my one friend, Jake, crosses the street. And when Jake crosses the street, we see headlights down the road. And I'm like, oh shit, headlights. And then headlights become cherries. And I'm like, oh fuck. And Jake takes off going one way. And me and Bill are here, and we run across the street. And we're looking, and we kind of look at each other, and we're like, fuck, run. And Bill runs one way to the right. Now, Jake is going by himself to the left. Bill is going to the right. My house is kind of the direction that Bill ran. But where we were was kind of like a business-ish district kind of deal. It was a lot of commercial stuff there. It wasn't a lot of houses. And we get across that street, and the direction Bill ran was towards an alley where there was a fence with a lock and nowhere to go. And the cops followed us. And they roll up on us, and needless to say, they question us about, what we're doing, why we're out, who was our friend. And this is the kind of friends you need to have, guys. This is the kind of friends you need to have. I went with Bill. I tell Bill, or I didn't tell Bill anything.
Wait, is Jake going to listen to this?
He might. It's old news anyway, and he knew. I think he knew anyway.
Okay. Sorry, Jake. You're a good dude.
The cop is like, "Who's your other guy? Who else was with you?" And I said, "What are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "I saw another guy running." I'm like, "Nope."
It was obvious because the first dude ran across the street.
Whatever
Two
he
big
went,
dudes ran across.
no, whatever. Anyway, I was like, "Nope."
I could have saved us.
Bill is like, his name's Jake Reading. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah, he's staying with us.
I was a straight and narrow kid.
He was. He was a good kid. But he was like, yeah, we're all staying the night at his house. I'm like, you motherfucker. It was so bad. Now, I'm thinking that we could probably just go home, right? Like, I thought for sure, like, they'd take us home.
Right, especially after all I told him.
Yeah, all the information that he volunteered
I was
freely.
being honest.
So, no, we don't go home. We go to jail, to the DeKalb County Jail or
Did
Auburn.
we get fingerprinted that night?
No, they just took us in,
booked.
and they made each one of us call our parents.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Except for me, I didn't get to call my dad. They went to my house without me, and guess who was at my house? Jake Reading. Jake Reading had just got to my house. Just ran. He said he'd ran the long way. He'd went a long way to go to my house, and when he got there, he had taken his sweatshirt off, and he was going in the back door, and the cops came banging on the door, and Jake is like, "Oh shit, what do I do?" And they're like, "Jake, we know you're in there. Open the door now." And Jake is like, "What the fuck?" like he made it. He got fucked. He made it. He got fucked. I'm sorry. But Jake had to go. They made Jake go upstairs in handcuffs and wake my dad up and tell him he had to get dressed and come to jail to pick me up. Oh, by the way, it's about 3:00 and he had to leave to go to Toledo at 5:00. So, Jake wakes my dad up in handcuffs. He comes. Actually, he came last. We're all sitting at the jail. Jake's mom, Janet, comes. Janet thinks that she thinks I'm a rotten apple. Jake and I were the same people, and like, I have no shame in that. We were the same fucking people. We did the same shit. We caused the same trouble. We were best friends. But his mom thought that I made him that way, and my dad thought the same of him. My dad told me, like, we were not allowed to associate with each other, like, a while after this. But nonetheless, we were the same guy. Jake's mom comes. Man, she gave me the stink eye. Bill's mom comes, and she didn't even really look at me. She gave Bill the stink eye, and they fucking left. My dad shows up, and he didn't say 5 words to me. He took me home and he said, "We'll deal with this when I get back." And he left to go to Toledo, and we got probation for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got stupid shit. Curfew violation, fucking juvenile probation. Didn't get any destruction of property or anything, which is why I'm so confused.
Which is because all of our both of our they asked us if we broke anything.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I lied about.
No.
no, and all of our stories matched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we really weren't doing much. Like, yeah, I was
trying
to get that light, but anyway.
Yeah, we got 20 hours of community service
at the fucking Natmus Museum.
That was 24 hours or something like that.
So I think we got 40. I think we got 40 hours of community
much?
service. Yeah. Well, I got community service multiple times with Jake. So with you at the Natmus Museum.
Yeah, hell, when I was down, they offered me a job.
I had a good time there too.
Yeah, you stole shit there too.
Shut up! I didn't steal anything. I got a Cadillac hood ornament, and that was it.
You stole a hood ornament off a historic.
It was not a historic car. It was a car in the basement that evidently nobody wanted.
That's where they stored cars.
No, bro. They stored cars that weren't nice enough to be put on display. That was like a 500-year-old Caddy that was literally just rusting. Yeah, I was a fuck up. I was a fuck up. I'm sorry, and I like the Cadillac hood ornaments. Do I got one? I'm thinking of one more. If I have one more good one. Oh yeah. I don't know if I told this on here. I don't think I have. So one time, my mom accused me of being gay because of Bill, and I'll never forget it. And it was so I don't get how you come to this conclusion based on the story I'm about to tell you. But my mom, leave it to her, because she asked.
Wasn't she a Jehovah's Witness at that point?
She was a Jehovah's Witness at that time, and she still asked if I was gay. So we'll try to keep it real brief. There was a hoe back in the day named Lynn or Crystal, depending on what day you talk to her. She actually was a nice girl. Like, she could be nice, but she had issues, and she had attention issues. I really won't get into all of her issues. Nice girl though, and Bill and I both talked to her. We worked with her at Cracker Barrel. We're all hanging out pretty regular. Bill and her were hanging out pretty regularly. Like, you had your apartment at Griswold at that time, right?
Yeah.
And one day I come to work, and I knew they had been hanging out, and I talked to her pretty regularly myself, and somebody came and told me about her being at a party with another dude that we worked with. I'm gonna put him on blast. Aaron Webeking. That was that kid, right? It was Aaron. I think.
I don't really remember.
It was Aaron Webeking. Anyway, so I hear about her being all up on this dude's nuts and kissing him and acting inappropriate, yada yada yada. Bill is my boy, like my best friend, and he's a nice guy. Like, when it comes to girls, like, he's the guy. Like, if I could pick a kind of guy for my daughter to be with, like, it'd be a guy like Bill.
Good thing it wasn't me, because I'm married.
Well, obviously.
But your daughter's pretty young.
She is super young, and don't even, ever in your life, if you ever mention that I ever said that to you, I'm just going to be like, Bill,
you freak.
Zip it up, buddy. Anyway, this girl, I thought her and Bill were like dating. I thought they had something going on. Based on talking to Bill, like, it was, but they didn't really know. Like, it was a weird thing. Anyway, I'm asking because I was concerned about my friend being taken advantage of. Somebody brought this to my attention, so I find this girl at work, and I'm like, "Hey, so what's going on with you and Billy?" She's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought you guys were hanging out. Like, what's going on?" She's like, "Well, we're not really together. Like, he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend, yada yada." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you guys hang out all the time." "Yeah, well, it is what it is." And I was like, "What? Like, what the fuck?" And I remember I got a little salty with her, and she and I were good enough friends that like we had a pretty candid conversation. And I was like, he's a good dude, and like if you're just gonna fuck him over, like what's your deal? Like you need to make it extremely well known, like what you're doing. And at the end of this conversation, we were in the general store of Cracker Barrel, and kind of off in the corner, nobody's really around us. She said something, and she goes, yeah, well, something about trying to get my dick in every girl I meet. I don't know. And I said, no, that's not me because I'm not a fucking slut. I left when that conversation was over. I come back to work like a couple days later and try to come to work. And immediately when I walk into the work, they take me in the office and they're like, George, we have heard some stories that you may have created an unsafe work environment, a hostile work environment. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we heard that you had a conversation with another employee. I said, did they tell you? They're like, nope. And I'm like, okay, so what are we talking about? Well, we just can't really have that. So we're going to have to let you go. So I lost my fucking job because I put a girl in her place because she was doing my dude dirty. And I tell my mom this story. And like my mom and I have a weird relationship. She's Jehovah's Witness and whatnot. And I tell her this story. And what she comes with me at the end of this fucking story, dude, was George Thomas. And if you ever call me that, guys, duck. She goes, George Thomas, can I ask you a question? I'm like, sure. Are you gay? I'm like, what? What? This is what you get out of this fucking story? Well, I just don't understand why you would lose your job over something like that. Like, why would you lose your job for him? Why do you care so much about what he's my fucking friend. Like, hey guys, I'm a good friend. I mean, I'm not a good friend because, dude, there's times where I fall off the earth. But if you ever really need me, I got your back. But yeah, I disappear. But I'm a good friend. Like, I stick up for my friends. Period. She was just like, I just don't understand why you because I definitely didn't go in there intending to lose my job. Right. Like, sorry. Side note to that fucking story was a couple days later. Scandalous. No shit. I'm rolling up to Taco Bell with Ryan, who is our third amigo and was Bill's roommate at the time when that shit went down. Crystal walks up to us outside Taco Bell, and dude, she's fucking on one. And she was like, I know you had somebody call up there and say that I was cussing in front of their kid and got me fired. And I'm just looking at her and I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I know somebody called up there and said that I was cussing in front of their kid, said there was a customer. And I know I don't cuss in front of any of those fucking people. And I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And I really didn't. I had no idea. And so we go into Taco Bell and order food and sit down. And Ryan proceeds to tell me. Ryan goes, dude, he goes, I didn't want to tell you. He was like, but Carrie, she was so pissed that you lost your job. But Carrie called Cracker Barrel like 2 or 3 days later and was like, I was in here today with my daughter or something. And she was like, and this server just kept swearing by it. She just kept cursing. And I think her name was Crystal and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God. They fired her. On that. And I had no idea.
We were all kind of in on that.
Oh, dude, it was plausible deniability for me, for sure.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Because I think I was there with you when we were at Taco Bell.
Were you with? I know Ryan.
Like,
I know.
I'm like, oh,
I know Ryan was with me because I was like, what the fuck? And he's the one that told me. And I just couldn't fathom like what she was talking about. Yeah, she was interesting. Little interesting. But no. And I'm not homophobic, but no, I'm not gay. I love you, Bill, but I don't love you like that.
You just crushed me.
Well, I mean, your wife will be happy, though.
Right.
You know, she doesn't have any competition, so I don't know, you know. Saturday is St. Patrick's Day, guys. Come visit me at Granite City Food and Brewery. They will, unfortunately, have green beer. I think we got $5 growlers this weekend. I don't drink beer. I wish I did drink beer, but I don't. Guess what Monday is, Bill?
Monday?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably your birthday or something.
Probably is my birthday. Monday's my birthday, y'all.
38 years old?
Shit, I'm not. You're older than me, son. Are you 37?
No.
Yeah, because I'll be 36.
No, I'll be 37 this year, dude.
Oh, I thought you were that much older than
No,
me.
I wasn't that
This dude had to look at the fucking date on my computer to figure out how fucking old he is. Wow. I thought I was bad. I really did.
Hey, my math skills are still good.
Are they, though?
Sure.
1 and 1 and 1 is 3. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. Bill's wife just got home a little bit ago. Shout out to Liana Ellerman for letting us use her craft room and table.
Hello, baby. I miss you.
Hopefully you don't listen to this. There's a lot of swearing and a lot of stuff in here that probably you just won't find that entertaining.
She's used to it. I've corrupted her.
But we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of Craig Mack because...
Who?
Craig Mack. Yeah, you can do it again. Because this guy just passed away as well, and he gave us some phenomenal music, guys. Mainly this. This is a remix, but if you've heard the song, you know what it is. Have a good one, guys.
I know we had to do a remix, right?
Niggas is mad, I get more butt than ashtrays. Fuck a fair one, I get mine the fast way. Ski mask way, nigga ransom notes. Far from handsome, but damn a nigga tote. More guns than roses, foes is shaking in their boots. A visible bully, like the gooch, disappear, vamoose, you whack to me. Take them rhymes back to the factory. I see the gimmicks, the whack lyrics, the shit is depressing, pathetic. Please forget it. You're mad cause my style you're admiring. Don't be mad, UPS is hiring. You should have been the cop, fuck hip hop. With that freestyle, you're bound to get shot. Not from Houston, but I rap a lot. Pack the gat a lot, the flame's about to drop. Here comes a brand new flavor, yeah. Time for new flavor, yeah. I'm just kicking new flavor, yeah. Like a brand new flavor, yeah. Here comes a brand new flavor, yeah.
Quick shout out to Bill Ellerman. Thanks for co-hosting with me, buddy. It was interesting, and I think we did a good job. Maybe we'll get on here again.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they can't hear you. I didn't turn your microphone on, son. This was me saying thanks to you. All right, guys. Have a good one.